was never going to be a men's physique.
Didn't have much of an off season.
I like his physique better.
I'm always very energetic. I will have to put me as one of the greatest.
Mr. Olympia was won by the back.
What advice would you give for aspiring bodybuilders who want to take it, who want to take bodybuilding seriously, as far as getting a coach or guru to guide them in this?
Aspiring? What do you mean, like?
That inspiring, say a bodybuilder is, aspired to take this to the next level, bodybuilding, competitive.
What is that next level? What does that mean?
A
lot of people say next level, and the truth is, next level for you, I say I want to go to the next level, but I'm 13 and I didn't even do the Teenage California yet, back when the Teenage California was a big show to do for teenage bodybuilding. When I talk about going to the next level, the truth is, the next level for me, in truth now, in hindsight, looking back, the next level for me was, hey man, making sure you're sitting down, you're reading every day, you're going through, you're doing your homework on time, and you're following through with the stuff that you're supposed to do that helps you develop in the way that you're supposed to go. Now, after that, we start talking about, exercising and training. The next level for you may just be, maintaining the discipline of training your entire body, doing some push-ups, doing those pull-ups, the next level for you may just mean, hey man, being more conscientious about, what you're doing and how you're doing it. The next level may just mean, learning how to breathe, and push through the sticking point of, 15 reps. You may need to get to 17, 18, you may need to get to 25, and certainly the developing by doing that, the resource in yourself that helps you to develop that positive self-talk that is necessary to start to will yourself over the obstacles that come up, regardless to how much lactic acid is built up and how well you understand that science. The next step for the next level, going to the next level, may really just be something as simple as learning how to develop a stronger or better positive self-talk, learning how to follow through with the discipline that you say that you want, to develop, and that it's going to be required for you to even be able to get more opportunity out of the stuff that you already know.
I guess what I mean is, if an amateur bodybuilder who's competing and he wants to become a pro, would you recommend that person seeking out a coach or a trainer?
An amateur bodybuilder?
Like, for example, you work with like George Farrell, right? Who's a very respectable, respected man in the business.
Best.
Right. At what point in your career did you connect with him when you were already a pro?
Oh yeah, I'd gotten a coach. See, here's the thing, there is so much development that I think is required to kind of know what you want to do, and a lot of times, people will buy a tool, in an effort to kind of make up for this stuff, this effort that needs to happen in order for you to, something, I'll just pay for it. I'll buy that resource. And, the resource may be a very powerful resource. It may be a very, very insightful, very knowledgeable, very well experienced, maybe a very good tool. But at the end of the day, if you still ain't do your basics, then your ability to use that tool, to maximize, what you can get out of working with that tool, I think, will really be, not as positively rewarding as it could be when we start to think about what your responsibility is when you're an amateur. Yeah, true enough, you can turn around tomorrow and say, hey man, I've done one show, I love this experience, this bodybuilding, I want to be a professional at it, I'm ready to go, I don't want to wait, let me just go and find anybody that I believe will, be the coach to take me to the next level. But if you haven't done any of this work, then you don't really know what the next level is. What is the next level? And your inexperience can allow you to accept ideas that technically don't really represent who you are and where you rightfully are at this time in your development. So I think that can become a very dangerous prospect to consider, you know.
It seems like you're very cautious about that. Like, you know.
Well, I mean, you know, the truth is, you know, if you asked Labrada, you know, or you asked, you know, Dorian Yates that same question, they'd have told you, hey, man, you know, do your work, develop yourself. You know, you can say, well, listen, you know, what do you say to the 11-year-old child that says, hey, I'm ready to have sex? Huh? You're 11 years old. It sounds funny. I know it's uncomfortable. I saw you like, whoa. But my point with saying that is, you know, you're 11. You're 11. What do you know about the next level? What is the next level for you? You know, do you need to be dealing with very powerful tools to make sure that you are, you know, what do you need right now? You know, and I think it's important to recognize that it starts there, you know, because the help with developing the right thinking process as it relates to mapping out what the correct course is for you. You know, when we start to talk about those questions later on about longevity, how can you reach to longevity if earlier on in just the beginning stages of your experience, you're not allowed to develop the foundation that you're supposed to, that old school bodybuilding would have talked about. Because this is not just about getting big for the contest. This is about personal development. At the root of this experience, this is development, self-mastery. And yeah.
You may argue, though, that at that point, when you're still underdeveloped, you need the most guidance. And if you don't have somebody guiding you, you might make a lot of mistakes on you. That's all I'm saying. You can argue that point as well. It's where you need the most attention. Because once you're ready, you know, let's say at a pro level and you're much, much further in the career, you know, you might not need somebody like, you know, George, for instance.
Well, Tiger Woods had a coach, you know, Michael Jordan had a coach. I mean, the reality is, yeah, to recognize that, hey, man, you know, elite level athletes, you know, are able to, you know, benefit from working with the coach. But at the end of the day, I think that there's a lot to be said for the self-mastery component. You know, if you're not allowed to master that, you know, and you can't really master that effectively as you think, you know, you know, it's almost like, you know, the mama bird, you know, throwing the baby bird out the nest. You know what I mean? I mean, you're going to have to fly. You gotta flap your own wings. You have to learn how to breathe. You have to learn how to do this. You're not just talking about it in theory anymore. Go out and do. You have to do. Because in the process of doing, now you really start to explore a whole new life that sits behind the questions that you will have. And your ability to later work with a coach or a sophisticated tool in that respect will be that much more greatly enhanced because you had access to this experience. This is fundamental. Without that, you know, the truth is you're putting the cart before the horse. And one thing that nobody talks about is how many of those guys, I did my first show, I did the team such and such, and I'm going to be the next. And I got and I'm going to do, and how many of those guys burn out long before you ever get a chance to hear them? Done. Career over. Longevity, it's done before they even got a chance to start to have a valid conversation of who you are yet. I think I personally, in this position, I think I would do a disservice to jump on the bandwagon and say, yo, you did your first show. Yeah, now go get a coach. Go get a coach. I'm not trying to knock any of the coaches. My coach is the greatest. Coach Farrell, you are the man. And everybody out there that's actually in the process of making, you know, the practice of coaching available. I'm not attacking that. What I am saying, though, to the aspiring athlete that is asking me this question that you're representing right now, and you're saying, hey, Kai, what is your advice to the up-and-coming athlete, the aspiring one, the hopeful that says, hey, look, this is what I want to do. You know, what's your advice about getting a coach? I'd say stay in your lane. That's not where you need to be right now. Understand what your basics are. technically at that point, if there's anybody that's worth their salt in this game, you know, that is going to be an influence to help you or at least point you in the right direction, that's what they'd be telling you. You know, hey man, get a solid grasp of those fundamentals. Your ability to be able to make better decisions and even, you know, more productive use of coaching and things in the future will depend on these lessons that you're able to learn and these skills you're able to master now.